Hello everyone, welcome to Caroline's Craftery and welcome to 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025 hosted by Dawn at Scrapbook Sage. She asked me if I'd like to take part in this year and I said definitely yes. So I was busy doing something and I thought, why am I not doing a little video on this? So here I am. So these are the people that are taking part in this challenge. Feel free to take part in the challenge and use the hashtag if you're kind of following along and doing stuff that other people are doing, etc. So 2025 is all about using scraps up. I had a whole bunch of this yellowish tinge, kind of, it almost looks like tea-dyed paper. I had a whole whack of strips. And I thought, let's do something with them. Let's not just add them into my scraps of long, skinny strips. So I folded them all up. Lots of videos on making this folded paper ribbon. This is not a cardstock and it's not a paper. It's kind of in between. I'm going to say maybe a 28-pound paper, somewhere around there. But I'm making the paper folded ribbons. As you can see, I've done a lot already to it. But I just wanted to share with you a couple of things. First off, I use these to cut the edge. These are just Fisker's paper edge, and these look like a stamp. And so I just cut the edge. This was before I folded it, when it was still in long strips. These were maybe 8 to 10 inches long, the strips, before I folded them. As I say, I was doing all this and then I'm like, well, why not do a video? So that's what I used for the edge. I then fold them. I fold them back and forth, and I did that with all of them. And then what I do is I actually ink where my folds were before I glue it or anything like that. Then I glued a little strip of ribbon. And that's when I thought, well, why am I not filming it? So brings us to now. I just need to do a little rearranging here. Let's put this over here so then I can bring this up. Now, as a lot of you know, I use this thing for punching my holes. It's a Stampin' Up! Piercing mat. Love them. Absolutely love them. I know they don't sell them anymore, but if you're lucky, maybe you can find a used one somewhere. Now, all these ones up here, I've got the holes punched in already. I punched the holes with a sewing needle in a cork. Gives me a nice tiny hole, and it's easy to handle, and it really doesn't cost anything. But I don't know how well you're going to see this. Now, I could use this, and then I would put it on, and then I'd move it a little bit, kind of to form around my ribbon. But I want my holes beside the ribbon on either side, so I'm just going to freehand it now. My hand's probably going to be in your way. Now this ribbon is really easy because I just go in between the two little, whatever you call these things. And so I'm just going to pierce this down. Now I find the secret of hand stitching on paper is to poke your holes and then just follow your holes. I have a sewing machine, so you could definitely do this on the sewing machine, well, sort of to a point, because I'm going to add beads to these. But I'm just going to poke this. So that's my holes poked in there. Not sure how well you can see that. I know my camera doesn't seem to focus when I bring things up to the camera. I need to adjust autofocus or something, but hopefully it focuses enough. So that's how I get the holes in them. Now I've got all these ones done. I got a mixture of purple beads because I'm doing the purple first. I've got a thread on a needle. I just use embossing thread like DMC, embroidery floss. And I use it because I have tons of it, tons and tons. I usually do it 4 times longer than what my object is that I'm going to sew, if I'm doing like a zigzag. I'm just going to go up one of my holes if I can hold my hand steady enough. And I'm just going to go up and down a hole. And this is going to take me longer to do it here because we're on camera. And it's always harder to do things on camera, it seems. And things like, you end up knotting the thread and all that kind of stuff. But it really doesn't take that long. Also, when I'm sitting at my desk, I can hold the work a little closer to me. Whereas if I'm showing you on camera, of course, I need to be in camera space. But just, as I say, I'm just going up one hole, down the other. So as I'm stitching this, please do check out the other channels that are taking part in this 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025. I know they did it last year as well. I did not take part in it last year. But May is my hosting month, and I've got a couple good videos already in the works. I really do want to grow my YouTube channel. So I'm going to try and work on putting up more videos again. And probably on like regular days. That's my goal at this point. Life has been busy, busy, busy. Okay, so I'm almost to the end. I've only got a couple more to go. But also check out my other links below. Check out my shops. Follow me on Coffee. That is where I place all my new kits, all my freebies, etc. I still place the kits other places, but that's kind of my first place. Okay, so now we're at the end. Now we're going to go back because now we're going to do the zigzag. So I'm going to go up and then I'm going to put on a bead. Let's just use these purple ones kind of with a clear outside. And I'm just going to stitch on a bead, come up, pick up another bead. These might be different colors, but that's okay. They don't all have to be the exact same color. So whatever needle you use, you're going to want to make sure that it goes through whatever beads. Now I've done these without adding beads. Sometimes we use lace and then stitch the same way on top of them. What else have I used? I have used the sewing machine to sew these. I've done them without ribbon or lace. I used ribbon in these because I had a whole bunch of smaller pieces of ribbons that I wanted to use up. It seems like sometimes all that we get to use is scraps. As Kim Newberg once said, when do we get to use the good stuff? Her and I were talking one day, and we were talking about scraps and how many scraps we always end up with. And there is tons of videos on using scraps of everything and anything. Okay. As I say, when I'm sitting at my desk, it actually doesn't take this long. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, I can't hand stitch. Anybody can hand stitch, but it is a little harder for people that have arthritis in their hands or something like that. There, I am fortunate yet. And I find stitching very, very relaxing. I like to do it in the evening when I've got YouTube plugged in. And speaking of YouTube, I've had troubles uploading videos, and I finally found out what the issue was. So, okay, my last bead is going on. There we go. Now I'm going to flip it over. And I am just going to tie these. Oh, by the way, my mat is just thick, that fun foam or something they call it. It's just a really thick, well, not a really thick piece, but it's, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick or something. And I just use that. When it gets too many holes in it, you can see I've used this one a lot. Then I just throw it away and I get another piece. I tie 3 times. I always do 3 knots. 2 to hold it and 1 just for safe. And I leave my threads dangling, because then I have the option to either leave that on or cut them off when I actually go to use these. I will put just a drop of glue on the knot just to hold it. Chances are this is going to get glued down, so it doesn't really matter, but that just kind of gives a little safety thing. I love how these turn out. The beads give it that little bit of shininess, and it gives it that little bit of dimension. This is one that I did earlier. So you can see the same, everything's the same, but the beads are a little bit different, so it gives it a little bit different look. Let's change these back again. But I've got, I don't know, 10 of each color or something. I decided, actually in another video, I said in my video, I need to start using my inks more instead of just inking with vintage photo, which is what I started with. And then I thought, no, I'm going to do the colors. So I've got purple, pinks, blues, greens, and then orange, yellows. And this way I can use them in whatever color scheme I want to do them in. But they all turned out good. They've all got a variety of ribbons on them. Some are thicker, some are thinner, some kind of color match, some don't. I was just trying to use up scraps of the ribbon that I had. So as you can see with the purples, there's 2 different ribbons. And now all these are punched, and I like to do things this way. I like to mass make them, do up a whole bunch, because it takes, yes, the initial sewing will take more, but actually putting all these together didn't take me very long. And I like to, you know, kind of have all my stuff ready. So this will kind of sit here, and then I'll just play with these in the evenings or whatever. It might take a day, it might take a month to get all these stitched. Who knows? But I'll probably put them, I got some trays that I use also. And then that way, when I'm not going to work on this for a little bit, I'll move it off to the side, and then it's not in my way. But hope you enjoyed this little video on making these folded paper ribbons. I love doing them. As I say, it just gives that little extra something to put the beads and whatnot on them. So check out all of these channels. There is links below in the my video description on this. So feel free to go through that way, and just do a search for the 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025, and it should bring you up a list of all the people doing this, any video that's kind of involved with this challenge. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.